Good. Okay. Oops.
Oh, God. Yeah, shoot.
Okay.
Oh.
iPhone has arrived.
How was? Well, you're gonna save it for 4 more minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
I've got 2 Xboxes arriving today, by the way.
Send me one of those. I mean, it's
No,
a
just
bold
hoping they don't
question.
get ravaged by FedEx, you know.
And by 2 Xboxes, it's actually one they broke in half.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'll get like an Xbox One.
Dude, that's what they should have sent me. Is like, yeah, we'll send you one, and they open
We'll send
it up.
you an Xbox, yeah, of course.
It's just an
no,
Xbox.
No hard feelings at all, Brad. Yeah, that would have just been the prickiest, most perfect thing. But see, they don't have.
They would have played it up. They would be like, okay, we will send you this, but you have to live stream you unboxing it. Like,
yes,
yeah, that's fine. And like,
yes, right. And use Mix before we shut that down. We're doing it.
Yeah, and like, I'm like, why are they retweeting all my stuff right as I'm live streaming? Oh God.
Right, you've been rickrolled.
That would have been hilarious. Well, I am jealous. Hopefully they are.
I don't believe anything until I see it. I got to tell you, this is how into lunch I am. Last night we're watching TV. It was probably 9 or 10 at night, and I don't know. My wife got up to go to the bathroom. I got a drink or something, so I looked at my phone, and I got 2 emails from Microsoft, or from FedEx, saying a package from Microsoft something, and I was like, I have no idea what that is. Archive. And then, no, I didn't. I literally went to bed not even thinking about it. And then I got up this morning and I was like, wait a minute.
So when you said you got 2 Xboxes, I initially thought you were getting 2 Series X's, and now I understand why you'd be getting 2 of them. That makes a lot more sense. Actually.
Yeah, there's one of each.
Yeah. So, all right. You ready?
No, but who cares?
Never stopped me before. It didn't really matter.
Right.
Sort of like when the pilot's like getting ready to hit throttle. He's like, you ready? Like, nah. Oh, well.
Yep.
Here we go. And here we are. Back in the podcast, Paul.
Why is my hair crazy today?
We had like 10 minutes of pre-show. And
Sure. I feel like we've already done the show. What are we talking about?
I don't know. You got something in the mail today.
Yep. Yeah, I got the iPhone, so that was nice.
Oh, that's a casual way of saying it.
The iPhone.
Which one? So what color is that one?
It's black. It's kind of hard to tell. It's black and a black. I put a case on it, right? Because I don't want to hurt it. But
You don't want to.
this will be a good day. Unfortunately, it's crappy and foggy and dark out, so it's not a good day.
That's the non-pro?
That's right.
Okay. I'm not
But it has the
judging
same
you.
display as the Pro, which I like. I was worried. Well, actually, I still don't know. I found the iPhone 4 and 5 series devices to be kind of hard-edged and hurty. You know, when you held them, it like kind
It's
of hurt.
funny.
Your hand.
That's how I describe you.
Yeah, show us where Paul hurt you on the doll. Anyway, I don't know if I assume this one is kind of the same, but I slapped it in a case so quick I never even checked. So I guess I'll look at that later. But you know, the one thing that's funny, I wrote an article. I wrote some of an article about rethinking how I do like a smartphone home screen, and I spent a bunch of time last night configuring. I eventually did it to 3 different Android phones where I really kind of minimalized like what's on the screen, and I am only using like one screen.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of curious. I'm going to see if I can do it on the iPhone. It's going to be a little harder because you can't move the icons all the way down. But actually, if I'm only using a single, I don't know, maybe I can
You can put a widget up top.
use widgets. Yeah. So anyway, but because they have this app library thing now, it's a little ponderous, but one by one, you can go through the icons and say remove from home screen. And you can either delete it permanently, depending on the app, or, you know, if you want it or not, or you can just remove it literally from the home screen and put it in the app library. And so this device with like a single screen of icons plus that app library, that's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
You know?
I only use one screen. That's it.
Nice.
That, and if it doesn't fit, it goes into a...
I mean, do you fill the whole screen?
Yeah, I'll just...
Pretty much, or whatever. Yeah, show me. Or I assume you can show me.
Hold on.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I was trying to get the picture changing. Oh, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So you've incorporated a couple of
big... So like I've got the weather up top, and then I've got like the little photos thing that does whatever photos, and that's it. And then I've got a couple folders that...
What are the 4 dock icons you have there? I couldn't really see.
Let's see. I have phone, message, like iMessage or whatever, text messaging, email, and browser.
Interesting. Yeah. So what brought this on was, other than the fact that I do a lot of navel gazing, modern smartphone OSs, like new versions of Android and iOS, I think, have like a digital well-being thing. And one of the parts that's in there is you can see like how often you're using apps, and it lets you see which apps you actually use the most. And so I kind of organize my screens very specifically, but I've always used, or have long used, 2 home screens on Android. But I was wondering if it was kind of arbitrary. And so using the information from that digital well-being app, I ended up using a couple of folders because there's a lot of stuff I don't really need to access all that much. But it's really cool looking on this particular phone. It looks better in real life, but it's like super minimal.
Which phone is that, by the way?
That's a Huawei P30 Pro. This is what I was just using until I swapped over the SIM. I said, it looks really nice. It's a nice phone. You should make more of these. Sell them in the U.S. No, too late.
I don't know. That's a bit above my pay grade. I don't get to make those decisions, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I use 2 widgets, and that's...
And you must use, I think I saw the photo widget. What was the other? Weather, probably?
Yeah, weather. Although I am going to update the weather to a widget stack, so that way I can swipe down on it and then see my daily fitness, even though it's on my watch, but...
Yeah, but it's just like see, I did you can't really see it. A weather, how can I make you see that? It's a weather plus a clock. I don't need a clock. I just wanted something to fill the space. Just kind of.
You can make the weather take up the whole space. You can make that weather take up.
That's true. Yeah. Right. Just yeah. I don't know. It's just I don't know.
Well, good. Good in-depth dive of your iPhone 12 experience so far. Just talking about widgets that came out a month ago.
That was my old iPhone.
Oh,
I've done almost nothing. The new phone has nothing on it yet. It's just I'm just figuring it out. Like I still haven't installed most of the apps. It took, 20 minutes.
Let's be honest. The only thing that matters on that there's 2 things that matter: the camera and magnets. That's it.
And the magnets, yeah.
I mean the 5G
with the magnets.
Not great.
I don't know. Is there something I can stick to it?
I don't know. Do you have like a clip that you put on like your chip bag? That's like what I want to put on there so I can tote around my chips on the back of my iPhone.
I don't know. It's like
She can see if it'll hang on your fridge.
You can hang it on the fridge, yeah. Does it stick to the computer? No. I don't know.
What about the metal plate in your head? Does it stick to that one?
Well, actually, so my son has metal plates in his head because he has cochlear implants.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
So I kind of hope they don't shoot in that direction, because if they do, he can't own this phone. So
or he doesn't have to hold it. I mean, maybe it's like a...
Well, no, you can't. You don't.
Right. That's right. That's right. I'm an idiot.
Move out toward the. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. That makes more sense. I'm an idiot.
No, it's okay. Why would you know anything about this? You should. I shouldn't. I wish I didn't. It's just an unfortunate reality.
It is. Just like you have nothing to offer about the iPhone 12. I was curious if I should go out and buy
what do you want me to say? It's pretty. It's nice.
I mean, it's an iPhone. Like, I'm still not going to buy
one. Black color is really hard to photograph. From that perspective, I wish I had gotten light green, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. The 5G, I know we've talked about it before, but people were saying, like, initially in the interviews, it knocks 20% off the battery life if you want to use it. And iPhones aren't exactly known for their robust multi-day length battery life.
So, by the way, I said this to Andrew yesterday, but I'm curious what you kind of think of this. We were talking about the new iPhone, because we did do a show last week and talked about the iPhones. And I said, one of the things no one's really talking about is, like, I've seen these reviews. Like, everyone who reviews the iPhone, who got it like early, was obviously compelled by Apple to, like, go find some place where this 5G, and so you can talk about how awesome it is. And all of them kind of did the same thing. They like, here's a particular place where you get the the super fast version, and one of the guys, I don't remember the exact details, but one guy was like, I can download an entire season of a Netflix show in less than a minute, and it's like, yeah, that's really it. By the way, super impressive. Here's the thing: nobody has an unlimited data account, right? So the downside of 5G could be that you can download the entire season of a Netflix show in 1 minute because you just used all of your data for the month.
Yeah.
Like in a minute. Like that's, and obviously the push for 5G is coming from carriers. And the reason that carriers have such tremendous deals in this family of iPhones is because they're 5G and they're really, they want to get people going on this. And I honestly think part of the reason is people are going to use more like data when 5G like is available and actually works. People are going to use it like a shit ton of it.
But see, now that is, I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just thrown it out as a theory.
So it not necessarily that. I would argue that potentially we might use more data as more devices adopt 5G, but not like I don't. If this phone had 5G, I don't know how my habits would change.
Well, I guess you've done this, right? You're no, you're not doing it this year, but like you're in an airport and you're sitting there looking at something on your phone and you're like, oh crap,
yeah,
forgot to download something to watch on the flight, like a show. And then maybe you're like, well, I'm on Wi-Fi. Let me give it a shot. And then the thing that starts downloading, it's like 1%. 1%.
Yeah.
And then you realize it's never going to work. And then you're like, well, I don't know, maybe when I'm on the plane, there'll be some in-flight thing or I can, blah, blah, blah. And then you just don't do it. But one of the big scenarios for this supposedly is like you're standing in line to get on the plane. Like, oh, I got to download that show. And you're like, doop. And it's like, bloop. And it just works. And I feel like that kind of convenience, if it does work, I mean, I think we might use it. But I also feel like we need to go back to truly unlimited plans or something, or reasonable costs,
I totally get that scenario. And that's a real scenario that people will find themselves in. But I don't see that leading to a massive increase of data consumption. Now, if you have like a VR headset that's streaming it directly to that, like that sort of thing, absolutely. Like HoloLens potentially might be doing that, but I don't know about on our phones that.
Jesus, just spilled coffee all over the place. Do you know Ward Ralston? He used to work for Microsoft. Just kind of on the Windows Server team back in the day. He was his last job at Microsoft was he was Satya Nadella's speechwriter before he became CEO. Yeah. Now, obviously, once he became CEO, he has an army of people. It doesn't need Ward anymore. But anyway, Ward traveled to Europe. This would have been several years ago now, while working at Microsoft, and he streamed, I think it was Breaking Bad probably on Netflix or something back in the day, whatever it was. And he watched the whole thing while he was flying around Europe, and then he got home and he had a $5,000 phone bill because he forgot he didn't do it over Wi-Fi. So he contacted his carrier, and he's like, "Hey, look, I made an honest mistake, blah blah blah," and they're like, "Yeah, you did. You owe us $5,000." They literally didn't.
Oh God.
Like cut him a deal of any kind whatsoever. And just never forget that story.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. The reason why I could see carriers wanting people over to 5G is beside the marketing thing, especially on Verizon. Like the more people they get over to 5G, the faster they can turn off their LTE. Yeah. Because that's how Verizon does it. Other carriers do it too, but Verizon is typically a little more notorious with it. Of like, hey, we're winding down LTE. You got to get on 5G and join us in the new party because we're turning all that off so we can make it America's greatest network or whatever they promotional thing this week.
Make AT&T great again. I mean, the reality, of course, is 5G is terrible today for the most part. So it doesn't matter. Like no one's going to benefit. Not no one, right? Literally, but most people aren't going to benefit from this right away. And as what I noticed, and I think this is pretty common depending on where you are, is you'll see that you have a 5G connection, and it's actually really slow. And this is something I think it's PC Mag does that connectivity testing every year for the wireless carriers. And what they found was that, I think with one exception, and it was probably Verizon, mmWave, what do they call that? Most carriers, 5G connections were on average slower than their LTE connections. And so maybe they will work out in the opposite way. It's like, no one knows what their speed is anyway. Who cares? No one's really paying attention to that. The thing you're doing works. You don't care.
Yeah.
So now they're pumping out slower speed. It's better for the network congestion. It's nice. I don't know. It's a scam, Brad. That's all I'm saying. however you add it up, whatever you land at the end, it's scam.
It's like when you go to Taco Bell and they have some new thing, but the items on their menu haven't changed. Like you've only had beef, beans, cheese, and a shell for 7 years.
You literally have 5 ingredients. You can mix them up however you want. You can call it something funny. Gordita, blah, 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 whatever. It's like literally the same food.
I haven't had Taco Bell in a while. I'm not complaining about that, but
I like Taco Bell.
That was the thing.
I don't go there a lot, I guess. So how much could I like it? But
there used to be. The problem is Chipotle overtook my love for like if I went that type.
Yeah, but you know
food.
what Chipotle doesn't have?
What?
Doritos Locos. What are they called? Doritos Locos Tacos, or what were they called?
The thing I appreciate about Chipotle is like they don't even try to hide it. They're like, this is what we have. Just tell us what order you want us to plop it on your, menu or whatever aircraft of choice, and we'll put it in there.
There's a great video on YouTube somewhere of a guy who goes through that process you were just describing, and the woman's holding the bowl or whatever, and she's like, "Do you want some of this or this?" And he's like, "Nope, some of this, that, nope." And he says it's so no to everything, and then they get to the end, and it's like an empty bowl, and she's like, "So," and he's like, "Yeah, I just want the bowl," or whatever that container is called.
Other things that have come out in the past, I don't know, 24 hours is Phil Spencer did you read this yet? Did an interview with Stratechery and
Stratechery? Is that how you say that?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. That could be.
I have a really rich history of mispronouncing things, so I would not trust my gut.
No, I do too, actually.
I thought it was Stratechery or something like that.
Okay. Anyway, yes.
Yeah, so he doesn't basically hit. He says that Microsoft is like considering looking at like putting xCloud on a stick. That's pretty obvious. They had a device like that in the past, but I think it makes sense now. Also, iOS on xCloud is coming sooner rather than later. I'm assuming they're going to do the exact same thing Luna did on Amazon did because it works.
Yep.
And then what was the other one? Like bundling like a Game Pass Platinum that would have like that streaming stick for the same, I don't know, like included. And then you get, Game Pass.
So the streaming stick would be an HDMI thing you could stick on a...
Yeah, I would imagine like a little Roku thing, like, the Amazon Fire Stick, exact same thing.
Yep.
But it runs whatever the Xbox UI, and then you can just pick games and play it that way.
Yep. Sounds like a good idea to me.
It does. It sounds like something we might be seeing next year.
Mm-hmm.
Because, that's what they were basically hinting at. And then things we may not be seeing next year are Intel unless they get their butts together.
I know. Well,
although they still earned $4-something billion. It's not like they're running out of cash. I mean, they're not growing.
Data center business fell 7%. Their PC business only grew 1%. In a year when the COVID bump has been lifting all ships, unless your name's Slack or Intel, apparently. There are some concerns there. But look, this is the company that can't move past 10 nanometers. That AMD all of a sudden has 20% of the PC market.
Mm-hmm.
Qualcomm is going to make moves on the data center. NVIDIA is a bigger company by market cap than Intel now, by the way, and is buying ARM Holdings. They're under fire from a lot of different angles.
Yeah.
So, Intel is basically the Microsoft of the, personal computer space, the Microsoft, of the hardware part of, but Microsoft was able to adapt by doing these other things. And I don't see that out for Intel. Like it's big traditional businesses and its potentially big businesses of the future are non-existent.
Yeah, they sold off their basic storage. They kept Optane. So they just put like $9 billion into the bank.
Okay. But, this is a company that touts things and did literally, and I'm not paraphrasing. They said this, AI and 5G. They sold their 5G business. And the AI stuff, they're getting killed by NVIDIA. What are you talking about? I don't know.
Yeah, everybody did just kind of like show up at the picnic at once and just start eating out of their bowl, like real quick.
Yeah.
And it all kind of converged in like an 18, 24 month period. I mean, NVIDIA have been doing work for years to get to that point, same at AMD, but they all kind of just launched around the same timeline. And then Intel's like, oh, yeah.
I mean, look, at least they got that great mobile story. So they'll be fine.
Wow.
No, I'm just saying there are concerns.
Yeah. Well, you know what they don't have to worry about? 10X.
Yeah, they got that.
Windows is not going to be leaving x86 anytime soon. They're trying. They're going to get there eventually. But wouldn't that be something if like Microsoft and Intel merged or something like that? That would be
Oh God. Huh.
That will never happen. It will never.
I don't know. Now that you say it, I mean.
Well, I mean, you look at their Xboxes. You look at their. I think they would have some big issues with AMD. I think AMD would fight it in courts and say all that, and that's a.
Well, I mean, it's interesting.
I mean, I guess you got to qualify that. Like, how far behind does Intel get? Like, if they get to a certain point where it looks like, where Microsoft looks at them and says, "Hey, they're not going to produce the chips that we need to run our laptops," then. Right.
Everyone knows that Rome wasn't built in a day. One of the lesser-known quotes is that Rome also didn't fall in a day. Yeah. These things happen slowly. Even the Titanic hit an iceberg, and it took a while. I mean, it didn't just sink immediately. So, yeah, I mean, you could look at the company now and be like, but they're generating billions in revenues. What are you worried about? And it's like, well,
yeah, they're generating it on yesterday's investments currently.
Yeah, and it's also those revenues were lower than they were a year ago in the same quarter.
Yeah, and I think the big sign there is like PC makers are saying like, hey, we're selling more PCs. Like,
yes. Well, okay. So apparently in this quarter, most of the PCs that were sold were toward education, which are lower cost. And I guess the big bump from the data center stuff, which did happen early in the pandemic, has kind of calmed down. But did it just calm down for Intel? I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
What's Team Red got to say about that one?
I don't know. I'm sure they have an answer.
I'm sure they do. Maybe we should call them on your iPhone 12.
By the way, that just worked. Now, like on an Android phone, you have to go through some complex series of configurations to get Mint to work. But
oh, really?
This thing, it was like, yeah, if you have a newer iPhone, it just works. And I'm like, come on. Because I'm so used to going through all, you have to type in like a APN number and all this stuff. It's like really complicated. And
I'm just waiting for your little green bubble to turn blue again so I can message you outside of Teams. But until you get, cleanse your ways.
No, I mean, I don't know. Should be there.
Is it? Well, let's find out.
I think I'm messaging. I mean, I still have to do all kinds of contacts work and whatnot, but let's see if I.
Oh, it did. You can read everybody the text that I just sent you.
Really? Send red receipts. Should I do that?
I turn it off. I sent Paul the word hatred.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know what else.
Yeah,
Test just didn't feel.
What is all this shit? There's like I can send emojis and stickers and.
Yeah, this is what RCS is on Android that has been very poorly implemented and rolled out.
Oh, well, here you go. Have a crying mouse.
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what is this. Why?
This is literally what he just sent me. Can you?
Well, it's the first thing I saw.
Yep.
I can record a little emoji message. I'm not going to.
I'll send you one more, and then I'm going to jump off. But hold on. Everybody's just. If anybody's still watching this, I have no idea why.
How many times can we apologize? It's free. You want?
Where is it? Oh, here it is. Welcome back to iPhone, Paul.
Mm-hmm. We'll see if it lasts. Add and share. Wow. How did you find that in an Apple device? Oh, it's a little animation too.
Yeah, it's cute.
It's like little middle fingers animating around my screen. It's like a galaxy of middle fingers.
This is what we do 90% of the day.
Well, now I'm going to be doing it 90% of the weekend, so thanks.
Great. Hey, it's raining. What? No, it's raining middle fingers.
It is a middle finger.
All right, later.
Bye.